Hello, I'm Tony DeMaria, the editor of JACC, here with a highlight from the June 4th issue of the Journal. And we all know that liver failure, which frequently occurs in the setting of severe right heart failure in patients with advanced congestive heart failure, can have important prognostic information. And to formalize this, a group of investigators from Columbia University applied the so-called MELD score, the model of end-stage liver disease score, to help see if looking at abnormalities of liver function could add to assessing the prognosis of patients with advanced congestive heart failure. And in some 43 patients undergoing evaluation for cardiovascular transplantation, they applied this MELD score, which really has three components. It has INR, it has bilirubin, and it has serum creatinine. And there's an algorithm into which you assert the values for these variables. In addition, there's a MELD score that excludes the INR in those patients on anticoagulation, and there's a MELD score that includes hyponatremia in those patients who have low sodium. And so they took this MELD score in these 43 patients with heart failure, and they looked at a combined endpoint of death, transplantation, or the need for an LVAD device. And what they found was, unquestionably, the MELD score clearly predicted an increased risk for this combined endpoint. But we often use other risk stratifiers in these patients with end-stage heart disease, such as the heart failure survival score, the Seattle heart failure model. And so these investigators then combined the MELD score with these other traditional heart failure scores, and they found it was additive. In fact, if the MELD score was low in patients in whom risk for composite events was low by the standard heart failure risk scores, then those patients clearly had low risk. The low risk was confirmed. Importantly, in those patients who had intermediate risk, medium risk, a high risk by the MELD score pushed those patients into a higher risk category for events despite being in the middle risk score for the heart failure traditional algorithms. So I think, number one, this study clearly confirms the importance of right heart failure, of abdominal congestion, of liver failure in patients with end-stage heart disease. And it does provide us with an algorithm that helps to risk stratify these patients for subsequent events and perhaps for the appropriate timing of interventions such as transplantation or the use of a left ventricular assist device. For JACC, I'm Tony DeMaria.